Currently, the game I'm working on is still in rough stages, as I'm still working through how everything will work. With that being said, I figured it was only fair to give some insight into what I am currently inspired by as I work on this project. The first one has to be Ollie Ollie, which is an absolute gem of a game. I do want to try and preserve more player control if possible than that of what is provided in this game. Another game would be Vector, as it also has the kind of parkour running feel I'm so drawn to, and is also a great game. But I feel like somewhat suffers from the buttons feeling sticky as the gameplay is completely on rails. It is a phone game, so it does make sense. And lastly, SSX3. You may have never heard of the game, but it is an over-the-top snowboarding game with insane tricks and stunts you can pull off. Of course, my game will probably look nothing near to any of these games, but those are usually just the games that come to mind when I think about the game I'm working on. As for writing code for the game and my approach to developing everything, it is all just an ever-changing process until I get the desired result. There's a famous quote that goes something like, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That being said, and being a glass half full kind of person myself, I usually take things in small chunks. Try something, push it till it breaks, then try something else. If I get frustrated or get stuck on something for too long, I move on to something else and return to it with fresh eyes later.
Can you believe it? It was right there!
Can I do it one more time?
On that note, I feel like it's important to say that I'm still relatively new to programming, and that I need to talk about scope since it plays such an important role in the progress of the game. My current goal for the game is to get what the professionals call a vertical slice, which is more or less just a finished product of a portion of a game. But in my case, I'll probably just call it one level. Just because I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but at the same time I want to test my abilities and see what I can come up with as far as what a finished version of the game might look like. As for any release date, I don't have anything planned, but I can assure you that I'm more than likely working on something for the project. Currently I've been hacking away at doing animations in Sprite, or at least a rough draft of them, and some other things that might end up getting scrapped later. The idea of this game is still loose, and I feel like that's an advantage, as it helps me from feeling too trapped by the project or too overwhelmed. The current state of the game may still look the same to you as I don't have much to show. I'm currently working on the back end of the character controller so I don't have to go through hell setting up transitions in Unity's animator system. I'm doing this so I can have a more reliable way of calling animations during specific instances, which may sound boring, but it more or less makes things look and feel more attuned to what I want, while keeping things more organized, but it's more a matter of trial and error than it is just a set thing. Beyond that, I'm also working out how to use Unity's shader graph, which I just haven't spent enough time with to really know how anything works, so I'll still need to see how and if that could be applied to the game in a meaningful way. I've also been reorganizing all my sprites into individual sprite sheets rather than one single one for all the animations, just so it's easier to add and remove animations due to scrapping it or it not fitting properly and it needs to be edited. Small tweaks like these take lots of time to implement now as I have a fair amount of animations, but if I keep my head down for long enough, I can have the system more worked out and future-proofed for extensions that I'll specifically be using.